All right, fine.
I'm missing my singing buddy.
Yeah, I know. Ryan's on here, so it doesn't hit the same.
Nope.
Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports.
All Sorts of Sports.
All right.
Sportsy ass.
Oh my. Do y'all edit that out? Because I've never seen that part.
No, it's always there.
You're acknowledging more and more that you don't watch the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
This is what I'm noticing more than anything. Motherfucker, 30 seconds of you do that. So who's missing? I mean, if you watch the episodes, you kind of know who's missing.
I mean,
all right. So you know what? So let's address that first because I would have definitely forgot. All right.
He's turning up on me. Okay, go on.
I'm in that delirious mode. All right. So we did like the 3-hour Spider-Man podcast last night. Then I worked like throughout the night. Then today I just wrapped up another podcast talking about the fucking Washington football team. And you know that was full of fucking sunshine and rainbows. So yeah, I'm here. I'm delirious. I don't know what the fuck it is I'm saying. I should have probably smoked some weed before I did this just to calm myself down. But I don't know. So we have no idea how this is going to go.
Nah. I love this. All right. So Keem just had a baby. Congratulations, Keem.
Congrats, Keem.
And
congrats.
Today is his birthday. So he's not here. He's celebrating with his family. Respect for that. And then Ryan he's out of town, hanging out with his
land
pops.
of PD Pablo.
Yeah, hanging out with his pops.
Same state as Keem's in. They're all in the same state.
They're not going to visit each other.
Hell no, they're not going to visit each other. Plus, Keem has to bitch slap Ryan, right? He said it enough; it has to happen. I don't know if.
Is Ryan going to pay him the money from the bet first?
Fuck! I still gotta send $250 his way, don't I? I'm gonna drag my feet on that one. The football season ain't over.
All right, so they're not here. I called up my buddy Ron, and he's like, "Thank you for joining us."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're about to get grilled. So since you're here, I have a question for you. Who's your favorite basketball team?
I don't have a favorite basketball team.
No. Say what.
How do you determine who you're gonna root for every year?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever Russell goes, I'm rooting for.
Russell who?
Russell Westbrook.
Andrew Russell?
You know who I'm talking about.
Andrew Russell?
No, Russell Westbrook. Wherever he goes, I'm rooting for him.
Okay.
So you're a Wizards fan last year for a bit.
For a bit, yep.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have you on board for that little bit, Sam.
Sad to see you go. Okay. So
not missing much.
So you've had an interesting year, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So, how the Lakers looking, man?
Like they need to drink some youth syrup and go back to being in their 20s.
That ain't happening. I mean, LeBron looked good.
LeBron don't look so good either, though. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, he had a stretch of 50 games straight where he had 30 points.
And he's working hard for no reason for those two.
All I know is that whatever happened at the end of that game where they couldn't even get the last shot off was not a good look for any LeBron James team. And that bald spot's coming back with a fucking venison back in that goddamn head. I'm just saying. I noticed that.
Hey,
you know what? I have a question.
You're not alone.
Would you rather have the LeBron bald spot or the KD ankles?
I don't know why LeBron just doesn't go ahead and get a full transplant or something going. He's got the cash, or just shave it off. If I'm Bron, I'll just shave it off. Everybody reaches that point, right?
Yet. I don't think
even Kobe did it. I mean, you get anointed, you do the thing, you fucking shave your head.
LeBron, KD look like he's 5 more hair losses of looking homeless.
Yeah, but I didn't say about the hair. I'm talking about the ankles.
Oh, the ankles.
Just the ankles.
I'm still
the ankles, right?
Still going with
yeah, the bald spot doesn't bother me. I mean, this is the first time I've ever had hair in my life. I'm not used to it. I'm still not used to the shit. I'd rather be bald, honestly.
All right, so that's all your observations about the Lakers, Ron?
I mean, there's a lot into the Lakers. I would say, let me just rip it all off about the Lakers. The Lakers, to me, just don't look like they're being coached. They're either not being coached or they are already uncoachable.
All right.
That's just from my standpoint. And then there's a lot of other things into it. too many old players, and expecting that they're gonna bring back what they've done in the past, like Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has not been looking good at all. You know, Raja Rondo. I don't know what's going on with Raja Rondo, but he's not looking like Raja Rondo from.
He's about to be traded, according to reports from today, to Cleveland, since they just lost Rubio.
I mean, they kind of have to, because look, they brought in Darren Collison.
Yeah, he came out.
And then plus also, you know, from a business standpoint, Rondo holds more value than Collison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right,
so
but there's one thing. So we have a history of discussing Lakers players on this pod, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago,
before the previous season.
Yeah. KDot said that Anthony Davis was the
ESPN said that Anthony Davis was the second best player in the league. And I said back at the time, if you looked at it like a power ranking coming off the championship they had in the bubble, it was true. I also said that it could change very, very dramatically. And it did change very, very dramatically. I mean, Anthony Davis right now, if I'm looking at him, I just still think something's wrong with him. Number one, he's playing with too much goddamn weight on him right now this season compared to what it is he has been previous seasons. And the dude's just not healthy. There's no reason that he should be the age he is with the frame that he does have and still getting hurt and not being 100% healthy most of the time. He needs to go find whatever nutritionist, trainer, anybody that he's fucking rocking with and find something different to fucking do. Go use the Active Dash South Beach and any of that shit. It don't look right. It's not right.
I think from a talent aspect, he is possibly a top 5 player, but I don't even have him in my top 5. I have him top. I have him. Not even when he was at his best though.
I don't know if from a power ranking standpoint, I'm not putting him top 10, top 15 right now. Like he's not in it for me at this particular point in time. But the way on the Lakers are. But I mean,
I'm saying even when he was sipping on his Powerade, I'm talking when he was like even when he was at the Pelicans. Because I'm just here to say this, and this is just me. No matter what the sport is, I'm not going to sit here and just be all hyped up about certain stats that's been put up, or so hyped up of certain accolades when film don't lie. The problem with Anthony Davis is, if you know Anthony Davis' background, he used to be a guard when he was younger and stuff. He's still playing like a guard. And if we all know, whoever plays pickup, I hate playing with big people and they want to bring the ball down because you steadily want to be a guard. That's Anthony. That's Paul, bruh. And plus, that's the first thing that's not beneficial when it comes to his health, because his weight cannot keep up for the movement he keeps on trying to do. Right. He needs to simply just take his ass under the basket and handle the post game from under there. Because like I was explaining to someone else, because for y'all that don't, a lot of y'all who don't know, I actually train basketball players. Is this: if your team lacks 3-point shooting, the next best bet is to handle everything from under the rim. So you handle your offense inside out, not outside in. Their offense is too much of outside in, which is why they're working so hard for their points versus making it easier going inside out. Because if you look at all of them, whether it's Westbrook passing the ball, whether it's LeBron passing the ball, a lot of those dudes they're just standing there just looking like maybe
they're not being coached. You nailed it on that front. They don't look like a team. Like you even hear what Russell Westbrook said when the reporters got to him a few days ago, when he was just on like, they got to let you, I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to do me. It's like, let Russ be Russ. It's one thing as far as Russ's shot selection, which everybody has come to terms with right now, is from the worst ever in the history of the goddamn sport. Right. But I think even what has been so egregious this year is the freelancing this dude is doing even on defense. He's playing by himself. There's nothing as far as that team that looks as though they are working together in unison at all. What you're saying, I would agree. If you look at the talent that they have on this team, you would say, I want to play more stuff under the basket, more posts. Let's use our physicality. Let's slow the game down to a certain degree to try to even form something. They're not doing it. Every time you turn the Lakers on, you're seeing something different. It's just a bunch of guys who had their heyday doing things a certain way, and they're still doing it. And you would have thought at the beginning of the season, like LeBron would be enough, and you'd have enough of these guys that haven't had enough success that they would, like, that would be enough for them to say, all right, well, fuck it. You know what? Maybe I haven't been doing things the right way because I don't have any championships. I need to listen to the guy that does. But I just don't think they don't have that in that locker room right now.
But then I go to the next step after saying like the problem of coaching. I'll say the next problem of them is looking at LeBron as the lack of leadership. Because I say the same thing about quarterbacks, right? Like who's a quarterback right now that just doesn't get a pass from me? Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger, right? You are at the point in your career where you should have it all going on when it comes to calling the plays. You should have it all going on in the sense of setting your players up in the best position versus people like who's semi young in the game, like a Baker Mayfield. Like a Baker Mayfield, I don't really expect so much in the sense of him controlling the offense. I look at more so the coaches. But when I look at veterans like a Matt Ryan, like a Big Ben, you have been around long enough on the sense of how to handle your offense. And that's how I feel about LeBron. But see, the thing about LeBron is, though, LeBron is always about getting pieces instead of putting the pieces that he has in the best position to be successful. Because if you look at their offense and stuff, their offense is the same setup that he had at Miami Heat with guys like James Jones, Mike Miller, Chris Bosh even. Because Chris Bosh wasn't sitting on the perimeter when he was playing at Toronto, but once he got to Miami Heat, he was sitting on the perimeter. So I can see how the transformation of AD's play, because at one point in time, AD was under the basket at the Pelicans. But then when he started playing with LeBron, he started playing on the perimeter a lot. So then now it's like basically I could rip and rant about a lot of these dudes and stuff. After coaching is leadership. If you've been around ball long enough, you know how to make 2 + 2 = 4 by now. You're not one of those young bucks where I can kind of give you a pass. No, I'm kind of going to look at you and stuff because you know how to make your offense simple. But all of y'all, even Carmelo, all of y'all are making your offense look so hard to the point where the harder you make your offense, the harder it is about to be on defense because you made your offense so hard. And any young buck team that comes in, yes, they're going to give you a run of your money because you're making your offense hard.
I think I'd push back as far as the Matt Ryan comparisons. I think Matt Ryan has gotten a really raw deal in Atlanta, especially this year. There's no one around him. And the fact that he's still getting anything.
Your man's though.
Huh? All right. It was one thing we had Kyle Pitts on a team at the tight end position and Calvin Ridley there on the outside. Where's Calvin? And then the running back standpoint, Cordarrelle Patterson has been amazing in spurts this year. He's not a full-fledged running back, and you still need something out of the run back game. Whatever. I'm defending Matt Ryan. There was a stat that just came out. I think PFF did it. Matt Ryan is doing more on offense with less pieces than anyone else in the league from the quarterback position. I don't want to hear the Matt Ryan slander.
But he can still do a little bit more, though, especially for someone's resume that he has.
It's not when you're looking at unless you're Tom Brady and you're the golden boy. When you reach a certain age, Matt Ryan came in the league in 2007. The other name you brought up was Ben Roethlisberger, who's a corpse of a guy in the fucking in the pocket. I mean, come on. If we wanted to talk about Ben Roethlisberger 5-6 years ago, maybe we'd have the discussion. I just didn't get where you're going as far as that. But what I will say as far as LeBron that will back you up, I will. The one thing I will say about LeBron in that sense, as far as from the leadership standpoint, I don't want to completely disrespect his leadership aspect, but I do think that he wants pieces, and you usually have to have a guy. I think people have always denigrated the coaching staffs around LeBron teams and not giving them enough credit in getting things done. That same thing with Eric Spoelstra. When you see what's happening with that Miami team, with Eric Spoelstra, when everybody was excited, I mean, he just shows up, they're going to do whatever they want to. Fuck no. They do a much better job than everybody's expecting. What I think this Russell Westbrook is akin to is when LeBron asked Wade to join him in Cleveland and then figured out, oh, Wade's not Wade anymore. Get the fuck off this team. Like, that's where we're at right now, is that he thinks that these are the pieces that are supposed to work for him. They're just not. And if you don't have the coaching staff, you don't have the team that's actually going to be able to say anything in that room. Can you imagine even trying to be a coach? Who would that team listen to? The amount of egos in that fucking room. Who do they going to have that's going to be able to come in there and say, this is the way things are going to do? You're going to bring Phil Jackson back? Are you going to get Pat Riley to fucking leave Miami? Who has the cachet? Popovich? If Popovich wouldn't even want to deal with that shit. Popovich, there's no chance Popovich want to deal with that
He
shit.
did deal with it every like 4 years.
Yeah, for what? All right, few months, just come and do this shit. They'll be embarrassed if they lose. We're good to go. Yeah. Let the shame fucking rock that shit, right? Yeah. There's too many big ego and talent and too many guys that are stuck in their ways. LeBron has probably been the best guy that I've seen at that caliber that has completely changed his game over the course of his career, being what he was physically. And in the sense of LeBron knew from a speed standpoint, physicality standpoint, he almost changed it to more of a point guard, looking at the way that he needs to pass the ball as time has gone on and the years go on. I give him credit for that. I'm not taking all that away. I'm just saying that LeBron needs some guys that know the X's and O's when it comes to basketball a bit more than just thinking that we can get all the pieces together and it's going to fucking work.
I think it's funny how you agree with me, but you still give you're giving out a lot of passes. Yeah, and I hope y'all invite me back for Big Ben and Matt Ryan because you gave out a huge pass on those two guys.
Oh, I'm not passing Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is a corpse of a man, but I'm just saying we all know what's happening.
Any man who blows a lead in the Super Bowl don't get no pass from me either. Okay? And
we're going way back. Matt Ryan. Or Matt Ryan? Oh, we're talking about Matt Ryan in 28. Look, all right, that quarterback, hold on. That quarterback, and if you want to look at play selection and everything else in that Super Bowl, we can. I was rooting for the Patriots in that game, so you're not going to hear me try to bash it too much. But I mean, if you're going to look at anything, what kind of defense gives up that many fucking points when you have the lead like that? And what offense takes their foot off the gas when you know the offense has been working like shit in that football game?
Isn't that all Matt Ryan?
No, Matt Ryan doesn't call the plays. So when you
have the plays,
look, when he came to that team and what you remember who their offense coordinator was?
Kyle Shanahan, right?
Kyle Shanahan was the golden boy.
James, why'd you invite me tonight for this bullshit?
I really look. I'm not. Look, we got other games to fucking cover. We're not rehashing 28-3.
I know, but like as a QB, you can change the plays. You can change the plays at the line. Like Derek Carr does it every fucking game, like every snap. He goes to the line.
John's dead.
Hold on.
You said what?
Because Gruden's gone.
No, he was doing that before Gruden left.
Okay. Every play?
Yeah.
He may make adjustments. He's not audibly completely out of everything in each play. It is not working that way.
James,
you're not calling pass instead of run if that's what the philosophy is.
Who watches the Raiders?
You're not calling pass instead of run when that's what the philosophy of what the offense coordinator and the head coach are doing. Period.
Well, what?
Whatever. I'm not arguing.
No, this is no whatever, okay? Because we cannot let black people like Kadeem just walk around and think that the shit that he's saying out of his mouth is fucking cool, okay?
You out here looking like a training day fucking extra with your goddamn red on. Motherfucking King Kong ain't got nothing on me. You rapping in there? Bees? What the fuck's going on right now? You talking about what? Huh? What?
Kadeem, I will fire your ass up on your own pile. You better stop.
Go ahead, Ron.
All I'm saying is this, because going back to my thing, and it still stirs up to someone like LeBron. Still stirs someone up because, like I tell someone all the time, when it comes to making a cake, there's plenty of ingredients that goes to making a cake, not just two things that goes into making a cake. So we just can't, make it all simple about LeBron gotta go get better pieces and stuff. No, how about you put your pieces in the correct position so your offense don't look hard or let alone predictable?
Yeah.
Because I would say the same thing with going back to Matt Ryan. Let's go with this year because I had Cordell Patterson for fantasy football, and you know what I was noticing? How someone who was drafted as a kick return / receiver is now only being used for running back. And then when third down comes, he's subbed off the field and he's not moved out to the outside. Yeah. And again, I'm coming from a coaching standpoint in the sense of this, and James, you know this, about how plenty of quarterbacks will sit in the offensive coordinator meetings, and make sure and put their voice in about putting certain players into position of being successful. Off the air, I was talking to you about Deshaun Jackson. I'm not hiding that. And what was my take on that, James? You remember what I was saying about Deshaun?
No, but we were probably saying the same shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, say the same thing about in the sense of if he's that talented, how come he's not always on the field?
So you're putting it on so you're saying this will be a fundamental disagreement. What I'm saying is that, and I'm not going to fight it. I'm just asking for clarification. What you're saying is that if you're a quarterback or a position or a player and a leader, what you need to be doing is in the room with the offensive coordinator, with the head coach as a part of the game plan and letting your voice be known. Hey, get this guy involved or don't get this guy involved. They should be a part of that. And you knock players for not doing it. Okay. That's it. Okay.
You don't. Okay.
I think it depends on the coaching staff. I really do. I think that there's a lot more litmus on the way that the front office is run compared to you have some players that might want to do that, depending on who your coach is not going to necessarily go well. And you're going to have a lot of fractures in what you can have on an offense. I say that as a Washington football team fan to see nothing but chaos and shit anytime a player had anything to say to a coaching staff or to a front office, especially a lot of times where they might have had Dan Snyder's backing, but not necessarily the backing of the coaching staff, where it becomes just an absolute nightmare and a mess.
Let me ask you this question.
Let
me ask you this question.
Yeah. Go on, James. Sorry. Right. Washington is one thing versus a lot of other franchises.
I get that. It's not a big mess, right? Like Washington being a mess and Washington not necessarily having a caliber player, Matt Ryan.
I'm about to say, because even in the sense of this though, a lot of times if you're not winning, what much can you say to a coach? But if I have a winning background, you have a lot of leverage and leeway to say certain things, like a Matt Ryan, like a Matt Ryan in the world and a Ben Roethlisberger in the world. You have some leeway versus someone like Taylor Heineke. It's kind of like what can he really tell the coach?
Yeah, I'm even going to be here next year.
I'm not talking about Taylor Heineke. I'm more talking about RG3 when he thought that he could say what it is that needs to happen on offense, and Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan shut that shit down quick. Yeah, and that's why I brought up the Kyle Shanahan thing. If you thought Kyle Shanahan was going to say anything or let Mike Ryan get in, Kyle Shanahan has an ego, like a lot of these coaches in the league. That shit, I think that if Matt Ryan would have made his voice known in the locker room, they don't get to a Super Bowl because I don't think they're going to be on the same page. So, like, I understand what you're saying, and I want to give guys credit. I think it's easier to do in basketball than it would be in football, just because of the way the team dynamics and the way things work. If you're in basketball, there's only 5 guys on the court at a particular point in time. You can basically say, as Russell Westbrook proves every fucking night in and night out, I'm refusing to do what anybody else wants me to do because I'm here on the fucking court. So you either play the way I want to play or you're not going to do it. But once again, what I go back to is when James says that like Derek Carr could change to a running or pass or anything. If you hear from the sideline in the helmet, hey, this is what we're doing in the second half. We're going to run this thing out. That's a philosophy. That's not, hey, what do you see the linebackers doing? Get us in and out of this play. This is a philosophy. And that's what Atlanta was doing in that Super Bowl. That's what happens with a lot of teams. You can't then say as quarterback, hey, fuck it, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. It creates a splintering on the team. I mean, that's the thing is that when those things do happen, you hear about a quarterback being a diva or you hear about a quarterback doing X, Y, and Z. Even when you have guys who have the utmost talent, and I give shit to, like Aaron Rodgers isn't even a guy that does that too often, which is why he always came to blows when it came to Mike McCarthy, or even why Matt LaFleur early on we thought might be an issue.
So let me fight you on that one point about how it was a split on the team. You saw how there was a split in the team when they benched Malcolm Butler?
Yeah.
Or but notice how that would have probably been a different story if New England would have won that game. If they would have won that, if they would have won that game, it'd have been a different, it'd have been a little bit of different conversation.
Even if they lost?
But if New England would have won. Because the thing is this, when you I told this to James off air, and I don't like to hide anything. There's a lot of things people like to dismiss when people are winning versus when you're losing. But a lot of those same things are still there even when you're winning.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying this in the sense of going back to with Matt Ryan versus what you split about what you're saying, right? In the sense of I don't think there would have been a split if y'all would have won. If y'all would have won, he would have got his necessary praise. Because even another prime example. But hold on, another prime example. When A-Rod and Mike McCarthy were going at it, and they were losing, that's when all the plays and everything started coming about.
Of course.
But when you're winning, there is not that much of a conversation. Well, there is, but it's hidden in the sense of a split in the locker room because you're winning.
But I think that's the thing is that like I'm not going to rehash the 28-3 all that much. I understand what you're saying conceptually. I'm saying that there's a lot of reasons why that doesn't happen more often. And I do think in basketball, it is an easier thing to conceptualize as far as player power and what it is the team is going to do compared to a football field.
I agree.
All right. So let's move on to more important news. We're going back to the NFL. This week, John Madden passed away at 85. I don't play Madden. I haven't played Madden in like probably close to 20 years now.
No shit.
Yeah. Like I haven't. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I could attest to FIFA. That.
Yeah.
I could attest to that.
I own every Madden except one since 99.
Yeah. Nah. But
even if I don't play
I used to play the shit out of like, I think it was like 03. No, actually it might have been like 15 years because I was playing like 07 like crazy with Mike Vick on the cover. And you had the Mark Echo team.
04 was Mike Vick.
Okay. All right. You remember the Echo team?
Yep. Mark Echo team. Mm-hmm.
Yep. After that, I was pretty much done.
Yeah, because ESPN NFL 2K5 was so much better. But sorry, back to what it is.
With T on the cover, you never played that one.
No, right, it's because James went to college. That's
true.
What happened.
And then I was playing.
That's what happened.
I was playing NCAA, and then playing FIFA.
Yeah, NCAA football was legit.
Yeah.
All right, back to the topic at hand.
Yeah. So, his documentary came out on Christmas Day, and then a few days afterward, he passed away. You know, you always hear about people holding on for a certain point, and like they said, it was unexpected. I don't know like what happened. Nobody knows yet. But yeah, before I turn it over to you guys, I do want to mention, I hate every time that like something like this happens, you get the people that come out of the woodwork and just say this like outlandish shit against somebody. Yeah. So there's two main instances. One, the first one was like, this guy was like, yeah, I'm a doctor and I have mixed feelings about John Madden, talking about how he promoted the game with Madden. And then this like, it perpetuated the mistreatment of black athletes. And this is a white guy saying this. And then he's like, yeah, and concussions and all. And I'm like, fam, it's a fucking video. The fuck are you talking about?
You found a doctor who's anti-football, so fuck off. Who cares about?
Yeah. And then another lady, like same shit, but whatever. But yeah, I hate when that shit happens. I'm glad they got killed on Twitter, like just destroyed. And it was great to see because bitches. But yeah, what were your thoughts when you're thinking about John Madden and like the impact that he had on the game and to you personally?
I'd say that John was, when I hear his voice every time his name gets said, right? Like that's the first thing that he goes to, whether it's a Frank Caliendo fucking impression or whatever. I hear John Madden, or you know who used to do it good? It was this motherfucker on Mad TV years back. Maybe it was Frank Caliendo, whatever. They used to do a really good John Madden. I hear that immediately, but then outside of that, because I mean, he just feels like football in my childhood. Like hearing him and Pat Summerall do games. Then when Chris Collinsworth, who was on Inside the NFL, decided he was going to be on actual TV doing the play-by-play color commentary, and they had Madden in there. Then I remember when Sunday Night Football went to NBC, and Madden's afraid to fly in planes, so he was riding around that goddamn bus with his face on the side of it. Like Madden was always just good, wholesome football. Like anytime I even see anybody use the marker on the fucking TV, the first thing I think of is John, because he would circle the weird, whether it be butt sweat on Cowboys players or here's a dog on his beard. Right. It's just, he would always do. And it was just, he was so much fun to me. And like the video games and what, like, I understand it was just a licensing thing at first, right? Like EA needed a name to go with it. I think like Joe Montana was floated. All these guys were floated. It becomes Madden. And I know Madden early on, the story I always heard was that EA was thinking about doing 7-on-7 football in the game. And he said, absolutely not. Take my name off of this stuff. If that's what you're going to do, we need to be real football on this game. And that to me was a huge thing. the fact that I can say Madden, for better or for worse, most times we hear people's takes, helped inform a lot of kids, generations of kids, about the game. When you hear somebody say a cover 2 or a cover 3, it's not because they know anything on the playbook. It's because they played Madden and you understand the concepts behind it. Whether or not because of gameplay, any of the things you pick actually mean anything compared to football is another thing. That's an EA problem. But even knowing the players in just the game and how it is we think about the game, for better or for worse, it created the conversation. I remember when the Madden ratings used to come out every year. And if you were around when the school year started up, everybody, what's your team going to be? Or what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with that? Or Mike Vick in 04 just being like, no, nobody's allowed to use the Atlanta Falcons in 04 when we play Madden. Like
cheating.
It was cheating because what that fucking that play action flood, just run the streak and then have him kick out on the boot. And it was just all day. Like it was John Madden to me. If there's a Mount Rushmore for football, the NFL, I'd argue to say that he's probably on that 4. Like as far as the most important guys that ever had to grace the game, what he did to bringing the game, especially the newer generations, I can't think of anybody who's been more important to the 1990s and the 2000s probably than him.
Agreed. Ron?
Ooh, but like he said everything I wanted to say. It was like when when it's your turn, it's like shit. What can I say? But personal. I'll say the personal thing for me is first thing is James. Let's go back in history. Remember in 2000, 2005, 2006, we used to put our high school plays on Madden. So we could memorize. We could mesmerize them. They still
do it. They still do it. Like when COVID happened, teams were loading their playbooks into Madden, and the players were playing Madden to learn all the plays and shit because they couldn't do it in person. That's crazy.
You're right.
Yeah, but
and to think too, it's a part of it's a lot of people's part of their childhood dreams just to get on the cover of Madden. Even with the curse, even with the curse going on at the time.
Yep.
Because we got to one point, what a good 5-6 year streak. Whoever got on the cover, there was a curse.
Yeah. And nobody ever said no.
And no one ever said, no, because I would agree with Kadeem that I believe that John Madden should be on Mount Rushmore because he's a part of a lot of people's dream achievements. There's the Super Bowl, there's an MVP, and there's being on the cover of Madden.
Yeah, or being a 99 on Madden.
Yeah, right. And the Hall of Fame, and then right, and being on 99 on Madden. And as far as what you said earlier about people's comments and stuff, I don't pay attention to people's insecurities because, and plus, especially because of this, when people put stuff on Twitter, they do that shit for a reason for people to feed into that shit.
Yep, trolls.
So,
don't feed.
Yeah, I don't really pay that no mind. I think it's just when times like this happens and stuff, it's like automatically again. I'm feeling my age. I'm like, wow, like, bro, I was around for like Madden from like 95, and then in the hear that he's gone, it's just like, damn, how's the world gonna kind of like move on without him?
Well, I mean, to be honest, like looking at it, Madden's been out of the picture for a while. Like I would randomly like see updates and stuff, and like I saw a picture of him maybe a couple weeks ago, and he looked like himself. Like he looked older, of course, but he looked like himself. But yeah, like I remember I told like somebody that he passed, and they were like, I didn't even know he was still here, just because like you don't.
Yeah, he hasn't been around.
Yeah, he's like larger, but he's larger than like his presence. Like at the moment, you get what I mean? Like he has the game. If you look at how he commentated, nobody was doing that before him, really. So now you got all these other people trying to emulate him. Like all these dudes now are his kids. You know what I mean? And like, then you got like his coaching career. Like he didn't have a losing season at all. And then he had winning records against a bunch of Hall of Fame coaches. Then he went from that to the booth, and he pioneered that. to where we are today. So I was talking to somebody about like how to honor him, right? Because
you had this conversation for a little bit.
Okay, it was like, change it from all pro to all Madden. There could be like some licensing issues with it, of course, but other than that, like it's not just that one thing. You can't just do that one thing for him just because of all the other shit that he brought to the game. You talk about, this is probably not a good example, I'm just spitballing, but how MJ changed like how the NBA looked, like how it was embraced around the world globally and shit. I could say the same thing about Madden, how the people, like everybody started to embrace the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like if I had to point to one person, I might be wrong. If I think about it,
I still point to Pete Rozelle probably more than anybody, but on that
front. What about when it comes to the coach of the year? They announced, the all Madden coach of the year.
That's what I was thinking. But Belichick's not going to say yes to that. So Belichick, we're talking about Madden. Belichick has been on Madden once because he refuses to be part of the coaches union and just doesn't give a shit. So there's an element of that from Bill Belichick that whatever you think Bill Belichick should be named after, just kind of slap somebody else in because I don't think he's going to care. There is that part of it. I will say, I won't get into this because I know that maybe it's a ticky tacky to do it, but I was talking to my boy Brendan about who is more important to the Raiders organization, Al Davis or John Madden. I think it's John. Because the way I look at Al Davis is the same way I look at Robert Kraft when it comes to the Patriots, right? Like, of course, you couldn't do it without him. But without this guy doing what it is he did, all your cachet, the Patriots might never win another Super Bowl again. Robert Kraft is already a legend because of the things that he did by selecting Bill Belichick and what Belichick and Brady were able to do. But regardless, I
don't agree, but
that's fair.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Yeah. I will say this, as far as John goes.
I ain't doing that.
Hey, Electronic Arts, get your fucking shit together. This game is absolute dog shit to have this man's name on it. And maybe you should get your fucking act together and put out something that's worthy of having his fucking name. Like, I know he's been sitting pretty because I gave him like $100-some million the other day, a few years ago to just have the licensing.
It's the same shit with all EA games. So it's 2K or whatever the fuck, whatever the fuck they
FIFA's
call
not named after Pele or fucking Maradona.
FIFA's name is changing, by the way.
I get it, but of any of them, one is tied to a man and his legacy.
Yeah.
And there is no reason that this game should be the dog shit that it is with this man's name attached to it. Just saying.
The company itself.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, if you're going to change the fucking name, then change the name.
It's the same issue with all of them. Like with all games from EA, it's just the quality of the game is just shit.
I just picked up FIFA for the first time this year, so I don't know what I'm missing. That's just
well, I mean, you know what? I played Keem a couple times. I need to play you next. So whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Don't play James. Don't play James.
Don't do that.
James play like he hate people. I'm like, bro, like James.
I'll get my ass.
Chill out, James. James be kicking the goal from like 50 yards away.
Right, let me play with an all-created team.
He'll let you do it. Look at James.
All right, I'll work on. I'll build a team. I'll build a team. Right. Play it.
Cool. Yeah, we'll play, and then we'll just talk about it. All right. So, rest in peace, John Madden. You should definitely be on the Mount Rushmore of the NFL. Sad day. We'll see what, like you saw the memo that NFL put around, telling teams what to do. I didn't like that.
7-second song. And it was just to keep it uniform. I think it's the same way that like when certain people pass away, they do the patches. Yeah, I just think it was something that they could do together as heritage.
Yeah, we're gonna do something different. I know we are.
Yeah, because it's the Raiders, and you guys that's in your DNA.
It's more so because that's fam. That's why we're doing something different. Like, I don't want somebody to tell me how to commemorate. Like, you know what I mean?
Your granddad.
But the NFL is saying, hey, we're acknowledging that this guy was important to all of us. This is how we're going to go about it as the NFL.
Yep. Yeah, I can go about that. We'll do that, but we're going to do something else too.
That's fair. I don't think the NFL is going to come down on you guys for doing something different.
All right. So now that we're on the NFL, let's move into our picks from last week and then go into the picks for this week.
I'm curious as to what the fuck happened last week because I don't
know. I'm glad Ryan's not here.
Did he win?
Yeah, fuck, he did. So yeah, and he actually got me by a game. So looking at it, Ryan had 12, I had 11 right, and you and Keem both had 10. So
what does that do for the standings?
Right now, currently, Keem is in last with 140. Ryan is in third with 142. KDot, you're at 146.
Ooh, 4-game lead. All right.
And I'm at 158.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fun. All right. So I know there was I guess we can discuss a little bit about our three teams, like the games that we watched really. Like I forgot who we beat. Oh, the fucking Browns. Whatever. I'm worried about the Colts now. I'm worried about that fucking game. But KDot, your team played. And
did we?
One of you fucking Washington football team fans was so fucking butthurt by that great ass tweet I put out that got our account suspended, fuckers.
Yeah, because what you were tweeting was violence, and after
it was not violence, fam.
Listen, after what we had with the previous presidential administration, what happened on January 6th, we need to make sure that we're doing the right things online.
You know what,
James?
fam?
Watch yourself.
You say some worse shit than
not
that
on Twitter.
Yes, you do.
Hey,
yes, you fucking do. Ron, all I said was, when you can't beat the opponent, beat yourself. Well, and then had a picture of Kyrie Irving doing this shit, like when it was like
self-harm's not okay.
It was like a flat earth thing behind him.
You need to watch your words.
Shit was great. Everybody was enjoying it, having a good ass time.
Apparently not everyone, okay? Yeah. Self-harm is a very, very, very big thing, and we need to make sure that we are doing what we need to do.
You don't mean that. Shut the fuck up. That was some bullshit.
All right. While I am bullshitting, the self-harm thing is something that I actually
great ass picture. It's a great ass picture.
Man,
but yeah. Go ahead and talk about your game.
You couldn't really call it a game. I mean, I'm not even gonna yell or get upset about it as much as so I went to the Washington Dallas game 2 weeks ago with my girlfriend's family. They were all fucking Cowboys fans because it was Christmas or the day after Christmas. And I did Christmas with my family. We did the day after Christmas with her family. So once again, I was watching this goddamn game with a bunch of fucking Cowboys fans, which was not a lot of fun. They are also expecting me to talk about them right now on this podcast and do a lot of yelling, whatever. Y'all don't deserve it. So the Washington team, we started off the gate and it was a shit show. I mean, we understand and we know, at least I thought I did and understand and know, that the way the offense works is through the run game. What you don't do is off the first play of the game, have Taylor Heineke, who does not have a great arm, throw the fucking ball up as a 50-50 ball against Diggs, who's having a great fucking season as far as picking off the ball, and you automatically put us down, and then you're not running the ball on first down the way that we need to. It just got away from us real fast. Outside of that, the shit that's happened around this organization over the course of the last few weeks, as I know that I'm speaking to a Raiders fan, you can tell how shit that happens off the field can affect the shit that's happening on the field. So if you look at what's happened, DeShazer Everett, who's a team captain for us, him and his girlfriend got into a car accident. She died. And the two guys that were with them at dinner, Benjamin St. Juste and Jamin Davis, both are rookies, were right behind them in a car and saw it happen. So the people that they were just at dinner with, people that they loved, people that they cared about, they just saw in a car accident and they were the first ones on the scene. That's fucking hard to deal with. On top of that, the COVID shit that's been happening to this team over the last how many weeks? If you look at it, I think Ron Rivera is the only fucking NFL coach still wearing his mask all the time on the fucking sidelines, as I'm sure he's still afraid of fucking catching COVID because he just got off of his radiation treatments and everything for cancer. There's then if you look at what's happening this week, Montez Sweat's brother shot and killed outside of Richmond, Virginia. That's fucking hard. There's real life shit happening with this team, and it is spilling over. As you can see, what happened between Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, two guys that have known each other from Alabama and have played together here in this league. They love each other, from what I understand, but I mean, when shit gets bad, it goes all the way bad. And what I don't want to hear from anybody is trying to downplay it. Look, we understand shit happens in a locker room, but what I also know is that the cameras are on NFL sidelines the entire game every fucking Sunday. What you don't see happen a lot of times in the NFL is a fucking player fucking going off and trying to slug his teammate. But Duran, if you ever stick your hand in a man's face the way you did, expect to fucking get swung on. Now, what was also news to me today was that Duran Payne apparently has removed all the photos of him with Washington football team merchandise off of his Instagram, has unfollowed a bunch of people, and his dad was getting into it with fans. So maybe this shit's not over. It's just not a good look. This team looks as though it's imploding across all lines. And even with that being said, I don't think the sky is falling. I actually didn't think, as far as the Dallas game with the last 3 losses, are that much of like, oh my God, this team is horrible. I still think this team is in better shape than it was last year. I think if you look at the last few weeks and what we had as far as the injuries and the COVID, and the amount of guys that have been down, you look at the original Dallas game, we were starting our 4th string defensive lineman. If you look at the Philadelphia game, who was our quarterback? Garrett Gilbert, along with a bunch of other dudes that have never played before. Then you had, even last week, no linebackers for us were there. It's not good. I just think that right now, if you're looking at this team, what made us good on a 4-game win streak have been removed from the team. And the MVP on the offensive side of the ball, who has been J.D. McKissick, who's been an amazing receiving back over the last few years in the NFL, has been gone for a while, and we haven't been able to replicate what we need to do on offense in the run game.
Free Terry McLaurin. Okay. Now,
here's the thing. What they need to do is use Terry in the way that we were thinking we were going to use Curtis Samuel. The only thing with Terry is he's gotten hit so many times that they're afraid of him getting hit in the backfield. Because you can also see when he goes up for those 50-50 balls, he lands the most awkward I have ever seen wide receiver. He does not give a fuck about his body out there. And from what I understand, going back to Ohio State and even his high school run, he's gotten hit in the head a few times, and that's actually a cause for concern behind the scenes.
Well, I think I might have been talking to you about like how the Dolphins use Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all should use.
No, I agree. There's a legit from what I understand behind the scenes. They're afraid of certain aspects of certain hits that Terry could get, which is why you don't see him catch a lot of slant routes and things, which to me is an issue because that's what I think he'd be absolute best at is to move him around the field and just getting the ball in his hand because he's a playmaker. If that's a problem, then that needs to be addressed and maybe need to be addressed publicly. That this dude's career might not be what we need to if we're going to protect him.
Right. That goes into his contract.
Yeah.
Now, Ron, I remember you used to be a Raiders fan, but now you're a Baltimore Ravens fan. Now, you guys had a game.
Followed Russell Westbrook to be one.
You guys had a game against, I believe it was the Bengals, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How did that game go? Because I didn't watch it.
My great uncle played corner.
And how did that go for your great uncle?
Motherfucker, you saw the stats.
I did not.
James, listen, don't do this, bro, because you always be playing this type of conversation. You know damn well you have a smart thumb. Forget a smart mind. You have a smart thumb to see what happened to us. Okay, a lot of my players is at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Okay, we went out and hired a wide receiver coach. The next thing they need to do is come and follow your boy me and hire me as a DB coach. Okay, because a lot of them dudes need to go learn how to play DB all over again.
Oh no. Well, hey, Humphrey's not playing?
No, he tore his pec.
Ooh.
He tore his pec like 3 weeks ago.
He tore his pec in the Browns game, the one that I think I went to.
He got hurt in that game. He tore his pec in the Steelers game.
Was it the Steelers game? Okay.
Yeah, it was the Steelers game.
How long is that injury?
It's a season.
Yeah, no, but like, will he come back next season like fully healed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Joe
I
Burrow
still think John Harbaugh is doing one of the best jobs from a coaching standpoint because that team is decimated.
I say Mike Tomlin too because he has Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my God.
That's a choice. I think we all know what's happening there.
Well, I mean, he said he's retiring after.
Yeah,
this
no,
game.
we're just like, all right, Ben, if you want to go out like this, fine.
You know how John Harbaugh could look even better? Let go of what's his name? Greg Roman. Let him go.
Yeah, I keep hearing people say it.
Yeah,
I will not. You will not get me on that train.
letting him go?
Yeah. You can't have Hundley come in there and look the way that he did, and even Johnson come in there and not look like absolute dog shit and think Greg Roman's.
Well, is that him or the QB coach?
I think it's just a lack of personnel this year. I just think it's a lack of personnel. They don't have anybody, and they don't know how to draft a wide receiver to save their goddamn life.
Let me break this down. Everyone, come follow me at CoachMills.com so you can understand the breakdown of film. It's hard to stop someone you don't have no film on.
True.
When you have no film on someone, he gonna come out and he gonna look unexpected. Look at Taylor Heineke when he played against the Bucs last year. The Bucs had no film for him, so Taylor Heineke went out and balled. Now that it's a report card on Taylor Heineke look like he belongs where he needs to belong.
I don't agree with that. I think your concept is sound. Your concept is sound as far as, of course, especially when it comes to certain quarterbacks and style of play. But if I'm really looking at it, the way you prepare against a Lamar Jackson compared to the way you prepare against a Tyler Huntley is not vastly different as far as the way that they were running the offense. I'm just saying overall, Greg Roman, when you're looking at what that offense had to do, Lamar Jackson is what percentage of your guys' offense this season? Then when you go into a season, you lose J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, fucking the ghost of Jamal Lewis, and anyone else that's ever been playing the running back position for Baltimore is gone off the rip. You guys' offensive line is trash as far as compared to last season. You have anything that's happened as far as even what you said in the defensive back room. They're sitting at 8-7. I don't understand how you can have a team that decimated with injuries. I mean, I don't know why I'm giving your fucking team more credit you want. You are very critical, sir. It's just, what the fuck?
I mean, it's obvious. For me, I'm sorry. I speak from a player coach's standpoint. It's very obvious. Every game I pull up, I know you're about to do the 12 to 15 targets to Mark Andrews. And you know what's going to happen?
It's the only one that can catch a ball.
Oh, hold on. But listen, from a defensive standpoint, because I can say the same thing about the Washington football team. The Washington football team is very predictable. And so when you look very predictable, there's a lot of things that start to lead to questioning. Questioning is in the sense of this. You brought Terry McLaurin. I hardly see Terry McLaurin catch hitches. And the hitches is a simple thing to catch the ball, then go out of bounds. I hardly see y'all put him in motion to drag him across the field so his body still goes out of bounds. That's play calling. And you have about 90 plays to get it straight. So you mean to tell me you spent about 90 of your plays of making 15 targets to a tight end? You look predictable. And that's the thing about the Baltimore Ravens. I can speak mostly about the Baltimore Ravens. I can't speak too much about the Washington football team. Only thing I can speak about the Washington football team is this. When your offense starts to look redundant, I can easily put players in position to be successful.
I think that's horseshit. There are players that can play and guys who are backups and third strings for a fucking reason. If you have a team full of no one that can fucking catch the ball, then what do you got to do? Run it 20 times a day? What running backs? They brought in everybody.
Who puts you in position, though? You don't just go out there and
you can get put in position. If you have no talent, you have no talent.
Time out. Who puts you in position? And that's the thing. We are so quick to talk about the players. Who puts you in position to do certain things?
Ron, you can't out-coach. You cannot coach talent.
But at the same time,
if they are all third-string guys, they are third-stringers for a reason, Ron.
Let me agree with you so we could get off of your point. I may agree with you, but you're missing the point. The point is this. Football is about strategy. If your strategy has been the same from week one, you look predictable. So then your talent has to take over. And a lot of times when your talent, that has nothing to do with coaching. That's talent. Your talent took over. Like Mark Andrews is a really talented tight end. Because for all these targets you're getting, you're still doing well. But at the same time, that's the word well. We could do better. We could do much different things instead of looking obvious.
You're 8-7.
It don't matter. We could honestly. There's a lot of games.
You're 8-7 with a Cincinnati team that they're the first team with players under 25. They have a 4,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard running back, and 2,000-yard receivers. You had a Cleveland Browns team that still plays hard as fuck every time you play them. And they're 8-7 after being how many guys are on IR?
Let me ask you.
What are you talking about?
I'm about to get to it because they're in
the playoff hunt.
You're hear what I'm saying.
You want to fire Greg Roman?
And he still wants to talk. I have a great question for you. If I throw Mark Andrews a post and he gets knocked out by the safety and we lose him for six weeks, who are we talking about then?
Did it happen?
I'm asking you a question. You're doing the same thing James do. Answer the question.
If your question's irrelevant to anything that fucking matters, then I'm going to say it's irrelevant to anything that fucking matters.
Answer the question.
Hey, what brand hat do you wear, Ron? What the fuck does it matter? Hold on, wait. Fine, repeat the question. Repeat the question.
But actually, let's move on because I can already tell where your brain is loaded at because you're too busy ready to respond. Because I comprehended everything that you just said.
Right, and you're coming back with the same thesis. Okay. So what I'm saying is, ask the question again. I'll answer it.
Cool. There we go.
If Mark Andrews was thrown a post and he gets knocked out, who we talking about at the end of the day? Who are we talking about taking the blame?
What do you mean? Who's gonna? I don't know if I blame anybody. It's an injury.
Go to your team, James. Go to your James.
That's the point. Is that he thinks he has a point? There's no point. Here's the thing, Ron.
Listen. Follow what I'm saying before you're so quick to say something. Because
how about you just tell me what you're saying?
My whole point is this: you look predictable of calling the same plays.
No shit. But if you don't have any fucking talent to run anything else, you can't run anything else. They have so many guys on injury, Ron. There's injuries that happen, Ron. Otherwise, any team that had injuries wouldn't see a drop off and shit that's happening. They're still 8-7. They're still winning games.
How many routes are there in the route tree, Kadeem?
I don't fucking know. What does it matter to me?
But then
the point is that what does that matter to me?
That matters.
What you want to flex right now? No, Ron. What you want to flex right now is that you're a coach. What do you coach?
Football.
At what level?
Offensive coordinator at a private school.
At a private school. Gotcha. And you're working your way up the ladder, and I wish you luck. What I'm also saying is that as much as you have your know-how, and as much as you want to flex that you still aren't comprehending one thing more than anything else. Injuries come and go, and when you don't have the personnel in place to run certain things on offense, you can't do it. The team is sitting at 8-7. They're in the playoff hunt in a division that is playing above their fucking weight class compared to what it is we saw early in the fucking season. They're still successful. I get it. We already agreed to that. You want to fire Greg Roman, which is what started the entire thing. I'm saying Greg Roman and what it is that offense has been able to do with not having anyone capable of doing anything is an impressive fucking feat. Period.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know that we fired our offensive coordinator in the middle of the season when the Ravens won the Super Bowl? Did you know that?
Yes.
So what's the problem of an offensive coordinator being fired or let go?
Because the team is decimated. You're 8-7.
But at the same time,
your team wasn't decimated when you won the Super Bowl, Ron.
Wait, hold on. I have a question. So you keep saying the team is decimated, but at what positions? Because we're talking about the offense here.
We're talking about the offense. What I'm saying is on offense, they have no running backs to start the season. I think if you're looking at the running backs to start the season compared to what it is they have right now, how many of those guys started the season supposed to be playing for the Ravens that are now playing for the Ravens?
So they I think the starter and the backup both got injured before the first game.
I think it's top 3 guys are gone. Outside of that, the other thing that I continuously say about the Ravens from a personnel standpoint, they can't draft a receiver to save their fucking lives. There are 2 franchises that struggle with that more than any other franchise. The Ravens and the Patriots. Marquez fucking Brown, Hollywood Brown, as great as he can be at certain things, is not a number 1 receiver in the National Football League. The only receiver worth a damn in Baltimore is Mark Andrews, which is why he gets targeted as much. Every game that they do play and Mark Andrews is not targeted, guess what happens? Nothing fucking happens.
I like Bateman.
Bateman, when he gets on the field,
he's injured for like a long.
That's the other. That's what I'm saying. They don't have any bodies.
But at the same time, it's not just about the personnel, right? It's also about the scheme in itself. I hear a bunch of people, former players, everybody complaining about the scheme in Baltimore. And I know you have to tell it around Lamar Jackson, but at the same time,
the Baltimore Ravens are the 5th ranked offense in the National Football League.
Why? Why?
Because they have to run everything through Lamar at this point.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
It's because of Lamar.
It sucks for Lamar like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I think if they had a different offensive coordinator, the offense will be better. Like to go back to Ron's point before, it's like, yeah, they're good, but they could be better.
I don't think that they have anywhere near enough talent to be much better than what it is right now. I think Greg Roman's getting a fucking hell of a lot out of that team on offense. That's my point.
I think Lamar Jackson's doing it. I think that's the reason why, like, he is.
And so that's the thing, is that every time that you guys will say that, and then when I say, well, Hundley came in, then the excuse is, well, there's no tape on Hundley. I'm not saying an excuse. No, Ron is. I'm saying that then the excuse is that there's no tape on Hundley. There's no tape on Hundley, so it's easier for him. What I'm saying is that the offense itself didn't change when Hundley went in.
But time out. We saw across the league when a quarterback starts for the first game, he does very well. But then when the second following game comes, he doesn't do so well. Why? Because the tape has come out now on how to stop you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And it even for this and this whole thing about Greg Roman and what he's doing for Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at. Here's my honest opinion about Lamar Jackson. For everyone that's listening about Lamar Jackson, if I wanted to play street football, Lamar Jackson's my number one quarterback. I'm taking for street football. Mm-hmm. There's no one in the world that's a better street football player than Lamar. I'm not going to give so much credit to Greg Roman when he's doing a lot of freestyling back there. Yes, we don't have a line, but guess what? He doesn't have a lot of mechanics of QBs. He don't.
Yeah, I'm just
even this in the sense of the mechanics, right? When I think about Lamar, I think about the situation when Tim Tebow was at Denver. That style of play is not going to attract wide receivers to come play with him. And that goes on Lamar and that goes on Greg Roman, because Greg Roman, again, your offense looks predictable. Yes, we have talent, but at the same time, you look predictable. So
I'm saying you don't have talent. That you don't get me twisted. You Mark don't Andrews have talent. That's what I'm saying. Is that the Mark Andrews, if your number one receiver on your team is your tight end, and there's nobody else that can complement that, it makes it extremely hard without a running game.
You can't
get anything done.
You can't do that because, like, Mark Andrews is a top 3 or 4 tight end in the league.
Kyle Pitts, I think, could be a top 3 tight end in the league. The thing is, if you don't have someone on the outside doing anything, and the only guy you can target as far as making sure that they come down with the ball is your tight end, it's hard to work with them, especially when you don't have the running game. And that's the other thing. Josh Johnson, who there is a lot of fucking tape on, still threw 28 of 40, over 300 yards and 2 TDs for the fucking Baltimore Ravens, where the defense, with all the injuries they had on the fucking secondary, couldn't stop Cincinnati. But what they did on offense with Josh Johnson still was getting shit done. So everyone wants to blame Greg Roman. Okay, cool. I get it. You want to be super critical. He's doing a lot with the shit that they have.
Was any of that garbage time?
Ravens talking teams not even
any of it in garbage
time? But time out. Hold on. Because we can do this whole round circle about certain conversations, but let's just nip a lot of things in the bud, because I'm not going to sit here and talk so much about Washington, because you know why? Washington doesn't hit my TV screen as much, so I can't really fully dissect them. I watched the Baltimore Ravens, so I could get a full dissect about their problem and stuff. Because since we want to bring a tight end, long time ago, Tom Brady was playing with Rob Gronkowski.
Running game.
And it was a point. But let me finish. And it was a point where he didn't have an outside wide receiver.
Running game.
On the outside. But he didn't have an outside wide receiver. They were running Julian Edelman through the slot.
Running game.
Mark, as much as you want to say running game, it don't even matter.
Because I said that when I said my statement. Don't cherry pick me.
But again, when the running game was not working with New England.
It was not working in New England.
Did we not watch the Super Bowl with the Rams of how it was not working? What did they start doing?
The Rams Super Bowl? Are we talking about one game?
Oh, my gracious. No. Let me move past you and you being this rude because I've sat here. I listened to y'all both talking and everything. Let me finish. Let me give you my take and let me just finish this stuff. Because the thing is about us doing better. We're doing good, but we can do better. Even with people that we have, because I've seen a lot of other teams of what they had, and they had worse talent. They had worse talent than us, but they made it work. Hollywood Brown is not an outside wide receiver. They need to stop putting him on the outside. They need to start lining him up in the slot, the same place where he was at Oklahoma when he was being successful. But they're trying to run him outside like he's something. And he's not. And he's not an outside. He's not an outside guy. Our outside guy is Rashawn Bateman. But like what you said, if he can stay healthy, maybe we can finally find something. But the problem with our other team too, which we all agreed upon, is a health concern. So we can't really find no full chemistry on neither side of the ball. So saying all that is this. Yes, Greg Roman is a good coordinator. But we're also predictable. Not much I can say.
All right. Well, let's end it there. And let's move on to our picks. Okay.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the Raiders?
Well, we beat the Browns. It's COVID. They had like I don't even know who the QB was that we were playing against. I can't remember.
The Browns?
Yeah.
Was it Nick
It wasn't
Mullins?
Baker. Yeah, it was Nick Mullins. And he did kill us when he played with the 49ers that one time. All the Browns fans love to bring that up.
I wonder why.
I think it was because of I ain't gonna talk about him. Yeah, so we ended up winning that game. It was close. Cleveland's a good team, but we won that one. And now I'm rooting against the Bengals every game because we beat everybody but the Bengals. The Bengals killed us. So, yeah, the Raiders play the Colts this week. So I'll move on. I ain't got much to say.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's still my MVP pick, so I'm not choosing against him.
He's not the MVP. But
okay.
Yeah, he's not the MVP.
What they need to do is stop fucking around with this stuff and instead just have a separate category and just have the best quarterback of the year trophy. That's what they need to do. I'm over this bullshit as far as the MVP, which is just a glorified best quarterback of the year trophy. Do it separately so we can have the debate on who's the best quarterback. Because that's another thing, is that like the way that we grade the quarterbacks, the same way that I think Lamar Jackson's yards should be combined rushing and passing when we look at him in a conversation with a pure passing quarterback. That needs to be the conversation that has to happen. It gets best quarterback trophy, and then we can do MVP, and it's not ineligible for a quarterback.
You know what else needs to be adjusted? Yak. I think Yak should be taken out of the QB's yards.
It does it with PFF. From what I understand, the QBR might take it into account, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay, because like a QB can throw. Like I forgot what QB it was, but it was Jamal Charles against the Raiders. He threw like 5 screens to Jamal Charles, and he took
Alex Smith. Alex Smith was big for that.
Yep, that game hurt, and I think I was going against Jamal Charles too. That game hurt. So I lost twice on the field and off the field. So that was funny. All right.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit that they were giving him against. It was one knock that some people were saying about Patrick Mahomes, but that just means you're a fucking idiot. Which is the sense that, like, hey, you guys, Patrick Mahomes isn't all that. You just hit Tyreek Hill on the screen and he takes it up. Look, there's some of that, but don't take anything away from fucking Mahomes. It's like
bullshit. He needs to do more of that. Like, he doesn't do that enough. That's why they were losing early on in the year, because he wasn't doing it enough.
Kansas City needs to figure out the fucking run game. They haven't had a consistent run game since Jamal Charles. And even with Jamal Charles, you can't really call it consistent because he was always an injury concern. So I'm just saying that, like, Kansas City, since the days of Larry Johnson and Priest Holmes, has not had a surefire, we know we can give this guy the rock, and this is what she's going to get taken care of. Yeah. That's always been a knock on Andy Reid ever since he was back in Philly. It was always he had scat backs, right? So it was like Brian Westbrook to kind of dump out of the field and do certain things. Like, that's what he thinks about conceptually on offense. They need a run game. They need a traditional style run game, at least something that they can go to sometimes. Not saying it's got to be the leader in the clubhouse for what it is they do, but they need to be able to switch it up a little bit with a run game.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like CEH, like
he's shown flashes here and there.
Yeah, he does, but he's just not what they projected him to be. And he's been
Charles Edward Hilaire.
Yeah. Hilaire. Yeah, CEH. All right. So the first
LSU,
game on the
right?
docket. I don't know.
And before y'all move forward, I do want to agree with Kadeem on that. We had our little argument, but I do agree with Kadeem about there just being a quarterback award. Because I really said it just because the main thing is quarterbacks have more opportunities to being successful versus running backs. But how many times they touch pretty much they touch the ball. There's 90 plays, they're touching the ball 90 times. Yeah. So the percentage is always going to weigh towards the quarterback versus like the running back.
But there is somebody that we're not discussing. Cooper Kupp.
Same thing. He can't. It's gonna be hard for that conversation.
Yeah, no, I was like he should be in the conversation as well
for MVP.
Yeah, and that out there.
I'm not putting him there for that far yet.
I'm not saying he's gonna win, but I'm saying
I'd still like even if Cooper, I'd still want to give Matt Stafford a lot of credit.
He should be nominated. Like that. That's what I mean. Like when you go for a Grammy, it's like, oh, I'm Grammy nominated. Like he should be nominated for this. Like
offensive player of the year, he should get a vote.
That's what I'm saying. He should get votes. Like, but he's not going to win.
How many nominees is it? Is it 3 or 4?
For MVP? I don't think there's nominees. There's just votes.
Yeah, it's just
votes. It's just votes. Like some people, it'll be unanimous sometimes, or it'll be, hey, some other guys got it. I got a few votes here and there. I don't think there's not a unanimous MVP.
Cooper Kupp will get votes.
I don't know if he'll get votes for MVP. I think he'll get votes for Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's going to.
He'll get votes for MVP.
I doubt it.
At least one.
I really doubt it.
Okay.
Because even if you're doing that, I think most people would still look at that team and say, all right, we're probably going to give it to Matt Stafford. I might vote for Matt Stafford.
No.
Nobody eating your cereal. Wait, hold on. Where'd you eat your cereal? Kadeem, he can't get 1 point? I think he could get 1 vote.
Yeah.
What, Cooper?
Yeah.
I know that like the way that the sports writers work, like, all right, let's be honest about it. In the MVP, right? Let's just have a little sidebar of the MVP. MVP right now, who do you think leader in the clubhouse is for MVP?
A-Rod.
Which is a really popular pick. James?
I'll be different and say Brady.
Okay, that was very different.
I know.
So,
but you know what I mean.
The A-Raj thing. I agree. If you're looking at A-Raj's stats and everything else, the way the team is looking, yeah. But then when you also look at the MVP becomes political. You have sports writers across America that have to put their votes in for MVP. When you talk about Aaron Rodgers, especially after he was just back on the Pat McAfee show, you're talking about liberal sports writers in America have to vote for the anti-vaxxer named Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, how many MVP trophies would this be for Aaron Rodgers? 4.
I just caught that.
It's really, really hard to justify giving anyone 4 MVPs. So he's got stuff against him going into this. It might be that he's the most deserving, but that's not the way this award works most times. It's got to be something that we look at and we're like, all right, are we giving him back-to-back? Do we think that this season he's arguably better than last year where he won MVP?
Let me say something about Cooper Kupp right quick.
Yeah.
So currently he has 132 receptions for 1,734 yards and 14 touchdowns. He's going to get a vote.
I'm telling you, the MVP votes get weird.
He might hit the trifecta where he has the most receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I think it was like the first time that'll happen since like Steve Smith.
I would just say to Kadeem's point about how it could also be hard for him to get the MVP because your MVP is also a reflection of your record.
Yep.
And if you're like the main big vocal point of the offense, and that's where going back to saying about Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford is more of it's responsible of where Cooper Kupp is.
No, he's not.
So if I had to put it in order,
No, I'm not. Cooper Kupp was him before Matthew Stafford got there.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm looking back through MVP votes, and I'm trying to see the last time a wide receiver was a runner-up.
Okay.
Hold on, Kadeem. Hold on with the Kadeem.
He can look that up. Talk to me.
Hold on. But James, was Cooper Kupp doing this when Jared Goff was playing QB?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the numbers, though. Talk about the numbers.
Yeah. I played against him in fantasy every fucking year.
Yes. There was no conversation of him breaking the receiving yards.
Not conversation of like being in the MVP vote, of course, no, but he was him.
I mean, no, he's him. But I'm saying for this year, in the sense of what he's doing on the field, there is some credit going towards Matthew Stafford, because he wasn't doing this with Jared Goff.
Man, yeah. I mean, there's that. There's Jared Goff. I mean, he was broken, and Sean McVay found his guy. The last receiver to receive a vote that I can find in MVP was 1998 Randy Moss.
Oh, Randy Moss? Nice.
In 98. Are we thinking Cooper Kupp right now?
We'll get the last time they got a vote?
From what I can tell, they're showing all runners up. And the runner up, usually top 4, top 5, is Randy Moss.
That's two different things.
What?
You're talking about runner up, but I said the last time a receiver got a vote.
No, this is what I'm saying. The runners up calculate all the guys that got the votes after the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So MVP. So in 2005, let's say Sean Alexander won, right? Yeah. But then the runners up were Peyton, Brady, Tiki, and Palmer. There were 4. But then the year before in 04, there was only 1 runner up. There's only 2 guys got votes, Manning and Vic. I'm just saying, if we're looking at Cooper Kupp and the way the season is running, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get votes from sports writers that when they realize that he's not going to win, they're going to feel very okay with casting a vote for him. But I don't think the sports writers of America, from a political standpoint, are going to want to have their name attached to Aaron Rodgers for the 4th MVP.
You're looking at NFL MVP voting at World.
Yeah, NFL. Yep, that one.
Okay, that's a valid point that he brought up, especially because within that gap of that time, another person that comes to my mind, and I can't even remember if he was even an MVP candidate, was the year that Steve Smith Sr. was going on for the Carolina Panthers. He was doing punt return, kick returns, receiving yards. I think he had a triple crown. Did he not?
There's only 50 votes.
What about Calvin Johnson breaking getting the touchdowns? That was an amazing year. It's really hard. It's really hard for a wide receiver to get an MVP because of you have to get delivered the football. That's the thing, is that it's not like running back where, hey, he just had it and it just goes. Running back, when the receiving stats coming to the running back, it's in addition to what it is that they were doing running out of the backfield. So we talk about LaDainian Tomlinson being in the conversation. It wasn't that they would look at those stats that after the average of yards that he was getting per rush and the touchdowns that he got on the ground, then you start talking about it.
And your record plays a big role into it too, because even the year when Chris Johnson was going on for the Tennessee Titans, he didn't win MVP.
Yeah, and I from a popularity standpoint, I even see that there's a chance, and I don't agree with this, that Dak Prescott gets a vote over fucking Cooper Kupp.
That's bullshit.
It's the Cowboys.
You see what Tony Dungy did in 2014? This man voted for Bobby Wagner.
All right, James, let's get these game picks.
Let's get these picks. This is interesting. I'm gonna look at all this.
Do you want to be the one guy that did something? Yeah. Most guys don't want to be.
For Cooper Kupp, he deserves recognition on this scale. All right.
No, we recognize it.
Let's go to the games for this week. Current. So the first game is the Giants and Bears. As it stands, me, Ryan, and Keem all have the Bears. What say y'all?
Bears.
Both Bears. Okay. Bears. Okay. Clean sweep.
All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. So next game, Jags and Patriots. We all have the Patriots. Same?
Pats.
Okay. Rams and Ravens. Now, Ryan and I have the Rams. Keem has the Ravens.
Rams.
Okay.
This was a hard game for me to pick, but I'm going Rams.
Okay. Bucks and Jets. We all have the Bucks.
Bucks.
Okay. Falcons and Bills. We all have the Bills.
Buffalo.
Bills.
Okay. Chiefs and Bengals. So Keem and I have the Chiefs. Ryan has the Bengals.
Chiefs.
Okay. All right, you
guys
I think
that Bengals stat that's floating around right now might light a fire under those guys a bit. So I think that game's going to be the game of the week. Easily.
I hope it's the Raiders and Colts, but
No, I think Cincinnati, Kansas City could be a lot of fun.
I hope so. Like it seems like it, especially considering like Kansas City's defenses and
yeah, man. I think that could be a fireworks game.
Yeah. All right, Dolphins and Titans. Keem and I have the Titans. Ryan has the Dolphins.
Titans.
Hang on 1 second.
What are you doing?
This is another one that I kept going back to. I look at my Yahoo as I'm going through them. Is what the Dolphins are the first team in the history of the NFL to have a 7-game losing streak and a 7-game win streak, and they're on that win streak right now.
I guess what that means.
It's got to end sometime. Yep. Let's go Titans.
Another 7.
It's because I'm just saying it feels nice to me to think the Dolphins win that game. Tennessee drops a game. Indianapolis wins, and now things have just gotten interesting again. So like,
no, no, we need Indy to lose.
Just saying, I can see it.
I need Indy to lose. All right, but you going Titans?
I'm going Titans, but I'm begrudgingly going Titans.
Make up your mind, man.
I'm going Titans. I'm just saying I'm begrudgingly doing it.
Raiders and Colts. Ryan and I have the Raiders. Keem has the Colts.
Colts.
Okay.
Colts.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor's going to run all goddamn day.
Fam, I'm so fucking well, actually, Carson Wentz is coming back now.
Out that bitch.
Carson Wentz is coming back. So
Carson might fuck this up for him, but it's like that shit.
It's like, fam, like, and then what's his name? The linebacker.
Darius Butler? No, Darius Leonard. Sorry. Darius Leonard.
Leonard, yeah, he came back too.
I said
Butler's he's the cornerback.
Yeah.
He used to play for
the Colts. That's why I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was just fucked up. Yeah, that's
Leonard's
an easy mistake.
Leonard should have been out for this fucking game, but now he's back.
Am I the only one watching Hard Knocks still? It's weird that it's mid-season.
I'm watching it.
I ain't watching
it. It's real easy to root for these motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you. This is one of the easiest teams I've ever been able to root for in Hard Knocks. Jonathan Taylor's just a good fucking dude. Frank Wright is awesome. And Leonard's just fun, man. Like it's a fun fucking team. I think we're talking about Hard Knocks, like the 2000 Ravens with Tony Saragusa and all those guys. That was fucking fun to watch. There's just certain team, and when Shannon Sharp was just out there just doing dumb shit, like there are certain teams that are just fun to see on Hard Knocks. Indianapolis is, I think, a dark horse that everybody's kind of rooting for right now.
Well, whatever. I'm tired of playing the fucking Colts. I feel like we play them every year. Okay. Eagles and Whiffed. All right, so I have the Eagles. Ryan and Keem have the Whiffed.
Whiffed.
Who?
Washington football team. I call them the Whiffed.
Oh, Eagles.
Okay. So this is the first game that y'all didn't pick the same fucking team. Nice.
Really?
Yeah. I was waiting for it because I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm picking the Whiffed.
All right. Broncos and Chargers. We all have the Chargers.
Chargers.
I will say there is a great shot for Denver to win this game because Denver's defense is still really good. And once Vic Fangio gets fired and he becomes a D coordinator somewhere else.
Is Vaughn healthy?
Vaughn's with LA, man.
Oh, the other LA. Sorry. Yeah, mix that up.
Next.
I just see LA. And it's like
Kadeem tired. He over here saying
I'm getting
Darius
there.
Butler. He over here talking about Vaughn. We're losing.
Negro. The Darius Butler thing was not that fucking bad. All right, they got the same fucking first name. They're both goddamn football. And I caught myself before anybody corrected me.
No, you didn't.
Fuck off. I'll replay it right now.
Hey, a lot of people catch themselves when they get sleepy. Come on.
Nigga, right. Go back to the training day set. Leave me the fuck alone.
Texans and 49ers. We all got the 49ers. Who y'all got?
49ers.
Okay. Lions and Seahawks. We all have the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
All right, next one, Ron, you go first. Cards and Cowboys. Keem and I have the Cowboys. Ryan has the Cardinals. Who y'all got?
I got Cardinals.
Okay.
Where's this game on here? Oh.
It's
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. What you got?
Cardinals.
Oh.
I think Dallas is riding too high off that win last week.
Panthers and Saints. Ryan and I have the Saints, and Keem has the Panthers.
Saints.
Okay.
Saints.
Cool. Vikings and Packers. Ryan and I have the Packers. Keem has the Vikings.
Go, Pack, go.
I can see why Keem's at the bottom. Packers.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he is now.
Yeah, I can see why he's at the bottom.
He made a comeback.
Okay.
But, I mean, to be fair, he's probably drunk because I think he's at his birthday party right now. Browns and Steelers. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I have the Steelers. And Ryan and Keem have the Browns.
Browns.
Steelers.
Okay.
I said Steelers.
Yep. All right. Final thoughts, guys.
Would you guys, anybody want to go first, or I don't want to cut anybody off.
Go ahead. You go first.
I fucking hate this episode. Damn it. Ron gets it out of me, man. I think Ron's the new guy that kind of pisses me off. So maybe this might be a good thing. Maybe get Ron on a little more often. And I'm wearing blue, he wearing red. It just works. I fucking fuck this.
Oh, let me turn my video off. Come on.
Final thought here for me. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going to rehash something I said on another podcast you guys won't see until after this one. The Matrix wasn't as bad as everybody says it is. That's all I got to say. Yeah, it has some issues, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Everybody's being a little too hyperbolic about the movie. It is an enjoyable film, and what I suggest is if you've seen the original 3, to also check out the first 2 movies in the Animatrix, the Second Renaissance Part 1 and the Second Renaissance Part 2. It does an amazing job of wrapping up the canon and the story of the Matrix before you're getting into the new film.
Okay. Ron, do you want to go or do you want me to go? You can point to me. All right, cool. I got you. All right. So my final thought is Ousmane Dembele. Officially, I think he's not re-signing with the club and he will leave on a free. I think this summer. I'm not 100% sure. I'm fairly disappointed, but good luck at your next club. Congratulations on getting married, but at the same time, you let your agents dictate this. But I can't put this all on the agents because if I remember correctly, you did the same shit at Dortmund when you came to Barcelona. And at this point in time, you have been injured way too fucking much to try to change this type of contract that they gave you that escalated as the years went on when Barcelona got out of the financial struggles dealing with COVID and the previous regime with how they were wasting money on transfers. I understand that the signing of Torres pissed you off, but at the same time, we're not going to fucking sit here and wait for you. Messi left the club. Who the fuck are you? You could be the best player in the world, but guess what? You got to play to be the best player in the world. I wish you the best of luck because I really do like the way you play, but goodbye. No player's bigger than the club. Ron, you go.
First off, great show. Y'all have a great show. I watch y'all when I can. And then sometimes y'all say some absurd shit. I definitely turn y'all off. Because y'all be playing with my spirit sometimes, especially Ryan. But my final thoughts is for a guy out there named Jake Paul. It's time that we start entertaining someone who's not fighting actual boxers. It's time that you go in there and you actually fight an actual boxer. Because if you're spending your whole time training with whatever champion that's coming through at Puerto Rico with actual boxers, like why should I still be so excited that you're going there fighting an old ass UFC fighter, then another fighter who clearly does not box, he fights So I would like to see the actual, huh? Yeah.
And as long as you get money, like, why the fuck would I fight somebody?
But I will say this, I've had people off air look at me crazy and everything. If he wants to fight so bad, and Canelo, if you're hearing me, Canelo take the fight with Jake Paul. Take the fight.
Canelo would tune his ass up, but they wouldn't do that.
But he'll get a bigger check than he just did with Caleb Plant, because Jake Paul has much more of a following than Caleb Plant.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think Canelo would Canelo. I don't think he would do that.
Why? If someone threw down a check and he saw the amount that he can make.
But doesn't he have like a mandatory fight that he has to do first?
A lot of these dudes don't do their mandatory, James. That's how the boxing world works.
I don't know.
They find ways. That's why, even I was speaking about this with Tony and everything. I think boxing in general should cut down on how many belts that's out there. They should cut back on divisions. Why is there a junior featherweight, super featherweight? Just make one featherweight.
Well, what's the difference in weight between those three classes? Is it small or is it big?
It's about a 4-pound difference for each.
Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah, because
for each.
Because think about it. Because even this, 5 pounds. Because there's a 130 division, there's a 135 division, and then there's a 135. And then they go 7 pounds up to 147, 154. James, you know me, I'm all over boxing.
I know.
So and the crazy thing is I think about each division has about 4 to 5 belts. Right.
That don't make no sense.
But the main ones are 3. So all that to be said is this, right? I will say this: Jake Paul is bringing interest to the fight game to the point where why can't we get these big fights going on the way how he's just jumping out there again, because he's skipping past the promoters and stuff. So which I do commend him on that and everything. But like I said, it's time for us to stop, parading certain things like it's such a marvelous thing and everything, and let's see him really test his skills. Because another actual fight he can actually do is him and Adrian Broner.
That would be interesting, because Adrian has had a bad couple of years.
Because you got to ask yourself this: what does he have to lose? He has more. He has a lot to gain from this.
Yeah.
And the check will be bigger than any fighter that he could think of right now.
What does Jake Paul have to gain from this?
A lot, because you just beat a fighter, a boxer. Actually, you actually beat a boxer.
But I would rather fight somebody on a smaller scale than like a Broner that everybody knows.
No, but again, you got to think about the name. Think about the name. Everything, and the thing is about the world we live in. Everything's about the name. You and I had the HBCU conversation off air.
Yeah.
And then we're in the world. Everything's about brands, anyways. Who people are going to buy Jordans over Filas?
Yeah. Okay.
Everything's about the name. So,
that'll be interesting. But I wonder what he's going to do next.
He's going to fight. He's going to fight Tyson's Fury brother, Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury? Yeah, I know. They've been going at it for a minute.
Yeah, but again, no one's gonna really chime into that, because who the hell is Tommy Fury?
Yeah.
Who the hell is Tommy Fury? Because even another interesting note, that Floyd Mayweather didn't put out the numbers for John Devontae Davis fight, because it didn't do shit.
That sucks.
No, that's his mess up. Because here's one thing I even learned this when basketball was in the bubble. Basketball is not beating football on a Sunday.
No.
What you think boxing is? Boxing is not going to beat Sunday it's not going to beat Sunday football, especially all these fantasy leagues going around.
True. Yeah. All right.
That's my final thoughts.
No, we broke a rule. Jake Paul got talked about on the podcast, but he's a guest. Let us go.
Yeah, like I'm trying. I think I've broached the subject of talking about him twice, and everybody shot me down.
Yep. So congrats, Ron. You were able to do something that we did not let James do for quite some time.
It's fine. It's all good spirit. Hopefully, when I turn on Washington, I see Terry McLaurin catch a hitch.
Nah, fuck that. I don't want to catch shit now because I'm going against him. But I need that fucker to catch one damn pass, and he couldn't catch one fucking pass.
Because he's even the crazier thing to go back to that Washington Dallas game. Washington Dallas game. Yeah, the Washington Dallas game. You know, Trayvon Diggs did a zone turn and a man coverage.
He did what?
A zone. That's right. Because you definitely wasn't playing defense when we were back in the day.
Fuck no.
Do you know what a zone turn is, James?
Yeah. Huh? But what happened on that play?
So if you watch the film, because I always watch film. If you notice on the other side, the other corner, I can't think of the other Washington football player's corner on the other side. I think it was not Dallas. I'm sorry, Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown on the other side, he did a man turn. So people who don't know, man turn is when you turn into the sideline. Zone turn is when you turn infield. Trayvon turned infield. So in my mind, in my coordinator mind, I'm like, well, if he gonna keep on zone turning like that, won't they just start doing hitches and stuff on Trayvon?
Mm-hmm. And they ain't do it.
Well, but I mean, I can see why Trayvon has allowed 1,000 yards on him as well, because he's getting away with bad technique.
He could have gotten beat a few times with Terry. It's Taylor doesn't have an arm. And anytime that he had a step, it's just not going to work. He can't throw a 50-50 ball with Diggs. He's going to come down with it.
You know what? I keep seeing this fucking trade proposal.
But we all know the rules when it comes to throwing a fade. Any fade ball you throw is either the wide receiver out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Taylor doesn't have the arm, which is the problem. Is that we do run hitches. Taylor doesn't like the second or third option, especially the last few games. He keeps trying to throw it further. He doesn't have an arm to do it. Even look at the Cowboys game that we lost in Washington. Terry's wide open on the sideline, and he tries to bomb it down and gets a pick. It's something that happens. So all right, let's wrap the show.
The trade I keep seeing is Derek Carr goes to y'all for 2 firsts and a third.
Oh my Lord!
No, I'm not paying that.
Everybody, no, not even from me or anybody else.
Yeah, the 2 firsts are a bit much for me.
It was like y'all fans.
I'm not trading 2 firsts for Derek Carr.
He's not a bad QB.
You give me 2 firsts, a third, and no legal issues. We could talk about Deshaun. That'd be a hell of a steal. But I'm not going. But I'm not doing.
Deshaun's going for like 4 or 5 first.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm not giving.
Derek can go for at least 2.
That's what I'm not. No, I'm not giving Carr 2.
Carr's going to get 2 if he gets traded. He's going to get 2 first.
I remember this conversation, and I guess this is where my exit is.
All right, bye, bitches.
What happened?